What is servant leadership? What does it really mean? And how is this different compared to thought leadership? Right. So a lot of people has been talking about this, like being a leader, and what kind of leader are you saying that some people have different definition for leader. Some people say the leader is boss. Some people say the leader is manager. But today we're going to look at it from a very different perspective, which is servant leadership, right? So no one can explain this better rather than Thomas lah. So which is why I'm bringing him back here again, just to share with you about this servant leadership concept. All right. So for those who are watching this, hi. If this is the first time that you see Thomas, can you say hi, Thomas? So Joyce is here. Hi, Joyce.
Hey, Joyce.
Right. So yes, for the benefit of the audience, maybe some of them don't know you yet, Thomas. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Okay, quick one. Hi guys. My name is Thomas. I have a network marketing company. I launched the business in India since 2014. 15, late 14, but say 15. And we're doing roughly around, since then, we're doing roughly around 5.5 to 6 million US dollars of sales per month. And a lot of things I'm going to share with you comes from there. I'm also an entrepreneur, I'm an investor. I have a car wash company called AutoStar. And I am starting to come back to put out content to help people reach the life of their dreams. So that's why I'm here, sharing information, helping you guys as much as I can. Hey guys.
Hey, Thomas, I gotta say one thing though. You have a car wash.
Yes, I got a car wash business.
You know what? I forgot about that. And then we have been doing like 4 different live videos, and I still couldn't remember that you have a car wash. I think it's a rather new business, right?
Yeah, it's very new. We just launched it on September. So our second branch was launched in January. We're going to launch up to 3 or 4 branches, maybe 5 branches, depending on how we go this year.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay. The reason I want to bring this up is because side note a bit is that me and him were always in conversation. We are talking, and I still cannot remember that he has a car wash until he mentioned it the 4th time or 5th time. So what makes you think that your client will remember your thing after you do it one time, right? So sometimes it's good to keep mentioning and keep reminding your client. Agree? Comment yes and let me know. Okay, let's come back to the session. Right, I really gotta talk about this because it just crossed my mind. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the leadership thing. So why not? Let's first talk about let's define this leadership. What does it mean? Let's not talk about servant leadership. Let's talk about leadership first. Thomas, what's your perspective on that?
I think it's a good question to ask, Adrian. We'll start with that. Let's start with this this word called leadership. And most of people think leadership, they think of, I got to lead somebody, I got a group of people, and so on and so forth. But actually, leadership starts with yourself. Let me just be straight with that. All right. So it starts with how you, as your attitude, right? It's how you lead yourself first. And in fact, the word leader is a very interesting word. If you look at the origins of the word, okay, I believe it's Latin or Greek, I think. The word actually came from the word servus, S-E-R-V-U-S.
Wow.
So the heart of leader actually is service. And if you were in let's say you were fighting a war, right? And then they ask you, who's your service? Like you ask who is the leader of your platoon, you will point to the leader. That's the service, right? So that's how the concept of leadership actually starts, you know? So I think if that makes it very clear, it's actually the heart of what leadership is. So we come to personal leadership. Who are we serving? What are we serving? What vision are we serving? That is the idea of personal leadership. So if some of you may not have a group, don't think of it like, this is only relevant, only I have a group. It starts now. Every single day we lead ourselves by making different choices and making different decisions and stuff. So that's what leadership actually means.
Right. I think that's a very great definition. Like it all starts from yourself, right? Many people think that, I want to lead other people. Like that makes you a leader, right? But that's only when you can lead yourself, meaning like you give yourself a direction, you can put in the discipline for you to keep moving towards your goal. And that's leadership.
Yep.
Right. So speaking of that, right, when we get that definition right, so what do you think about like there's different kind of leadership, like today the topic is servant leadership or thought leadership. Let's talk about that. How is that different?
I wanted to zoom into this because we were having some conversations last week. I think we were talking about sales. And then Henry, hi Rajendra, and Henry, good to see you again. Hi Simon. I want to talk about this because it was something that was brought up, and a lot of reviewers found it interesting. So I want to talk about it a little bit more, especially from the sales aspect. This may be the most important concept if you want to grasp to change your sales results, to change how you enjoy sales, to change how you enjoy your team, how you get good results with your team as well. So this may be the most important concept to understand. So there are many thoughts of leadership, but I want to zoom into two only in perspective of sales. Okay. So in sales, there are two types of leaders. Okay. And this is not a tactic or technique kind of thing. This is like a perspective kind of conversation. We're not going to teach you any skill. Okay, that's not the conversation today. But we're going to talk about how to think about your sales process, how to think about your prospects, how to think about yourself, how to think about your copywriting, your ads, whatsoever. It's going to change everything, how you approach it. Okay.
Right.
So so let's talk about thought leadership and servant leader. So a lot of people say, oh, I need to be a thought leader so that people would recognize me, people would follow me, people would then acknowledge me. Okay. So thought leadership, by its very center of its nature, is actually very selfish. It's very egoistical. Okay. But it's strange because people always have this thing like, oh, I must know my knowledge. I must know the information. I need to know more than other people. Yes, those things are true. Okay. But when we go and do sales, right, sometimes people always ask us, how much do you know? What do you know? How much experience you have, know. But you must understand that most people, we live in a world where everybody wants to be a thought leader. Okay. Silently or subconsciously, you want to be a thought leader. So they expect you to be a thought leader as well. So it's a trap sometimes. Your customers always want you to be the most, sometimes they want to challenge you on how smart you are or how much you know and so on and so forth. But let's be honest, it's a never-ending story. Someone's going to know more than you. Someone's going to do faster than you, right? So thought leadership by its very nature, okay, it's actually very, it will make you become like a commodity. Okay, if you know something, then you are good lah. If you don't know something, means you're no good lah. You see, so if you're gonna build a business in that idea, then you're gonna really struggle. You're gonna really struggle to stand out for your competition. So in fact, being a thought leader is what keeps you in your competition. So those of you who are struggling with competing with other agents, other people, you're probably approaching a business as a thought leader. Okay, servant leaders do not need to compete. Let me explain why a bit later. But basically, thought leadership is that in the capsule is that. It's about my knowledge. Okay, what do I know? I know more than you. Okay, my knowledge is unique. Okay, yeah.
So it's kind of like when we are out there talking to people, we always want to bring like a new perspective, kind of thing, or
yes, kind of
tell them something that they never heard before, so that it seems like we are unique and kind of thing.
You see, the secret is, Adrian, you don't have to tell people something new. You don't have to tell people something new sometimes, sometimes we just have to present it in a way that makes them take action, make them realize something new. Okay. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to give them data. Okay. We don't want to give them facts. What we want to do is to almost transform them. Okay. Let me explain this process a little bit. I know it's going to take a little bit of time, and I hope you guys are taking notes. Okay.
Okay.
So let me just give a simple separation. Servant leader, okay. Thought leader, they always like to educate their customers. Okay, they like to educate. So unless you go to a showroom and say, "Sir, let me educate you why this is the best place, right? This is the best property." So thought leaders like to educate. Thought leaders like to tell you. Educate is a different way of telling you only. Okay, so it's very. So if you think about it, right, it's a bit condescending. I have to tell you something, right? Now, hey, hi, Erica. Good to see you again. Okay. So thought leadership, they like to educate you. Okay. Now, what happens after you educate a person is that they know. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. But a servant leader, they will always seek to try to understand. And they always present themselves in such a way that they understand what people are going through. Okay, if you look at some of the greatest leaders in the world, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, all these guys, And some of you are doing sales, like, what does that have to do with me? I'm doing sales only, right? What does it do with me? But they are also salespeople. They also rally a cause, right? If you really listen to Martin Luther King, the way they talk, they speak of the people's pain, they speak of the people's dreams, speak of the people's fears, all right? And that's why he's such a great salesperson. He's a servant leader. You know, if you listen to his speech, you know, I have a dream, right? So he said that one day I have a dream that one day black boys, and they use the word black because that was how it was back then, right? Black boys and black girls, right? They are friends, and then they will join in a table where it's called brotherhood. People eating together. Sons of slaves and sons of slave masters will sit together in a table called brotherhood, and people listen to this like, wow, that's what I want. So you got a hint over there. You see, servant leaders, they are very good in creating a sort of like, we are both the same. We are empathize you in the same way.
Right.
And the thought leader is about, here's what I can do for you. Okay. Whereas a servant leader, now here's the best way to describe to you in the description in the picture. Thought leader is, I got something for you. Okay. That's what thought leaders do. And let me tell you why these things work for you. Okay. Now reverse engineer, servant leadership sales is like this. Okay. You are in a miserable island. Here, this place is not good for you. I understand. I have been there before. Okay. Here are all the things that you don't want. Okay. So they start with creating that. Here are all the things that you want. It's called the fantasy island. And this is a lot of things I learned from my mentor, all right, Kenneth. He's a great copywriter. Okay. Here's what you want. Okay. So servant leaders are very quick to establish, I know what you don't want and I know what you want.
Right.
So if you go through a sales process, right? So say, oh, Mr. Xiao, have you been seeing a few properties? Say, yeah. Have you made a decision yet? Say, so look around. Now, at this point, right, he didn't tell you, but you know, right, they haven't made a decision because they have certain concerns, right? What are their concerns? Can you explain to them? Can you even, not that you know, you want them to know that you know. You see, servant leaders take the effort to let people know that they know, right? Okay, they take the effort.
Actually, now this is very clear now, right? Like, actually, you don't need to have a team to practice leadership, right? If you come to understand from the point of view that Thomas just explained, right? It works in your sales as well. Like, think about like what kind of person are you? Are you like trying to put your thoughts into someone else? Like, oh, you should look at things in this type perspective. You should do this. You should do that. Here's how the strategy that works for you, right? Instead of just telling that from a like your point of view, why not see it from their point of view, right? If you can let them know that you are seeing things from their point, the keyword is I am just like you, right?
Yeah.
So we've been there before, and here is how I would overcome this problem. And now they know that you are at the same line as them. You're at the same corner as we speak last week about this, right? So now when you practice this and then you start leading a team, you use the same way to talk to your team members. I think that's how I understand from whatever you just said just now, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what you talk about. Is rather than saying, here's what you should do, here's the property you should buy. Okay, you start the conversation with, I know why you haven't bought yet. Okay. So let me give you this whole concept. Okay, why when you are servant leadership, you are most valuable to your customers? Why you're most valuable to your team? You're most valuable to people. Okay, because you're not giving a commodity. You're not giving knowledge. Knowledge is commodity. Someone can give you faster. Someone can give you better. Okay, right. Adrian will give you, let's say here the brochure to buy this property. If he edit the brochure nicer, he got better commodity. I have to keep up. I have to create a new brochure. So it's always a war, right? You see. So if you are a thought leader, you are always valuable until the next thought leader comes out.
Wow.
Okay? But when you're a servant leader, people don't come to you because of your knowledge. They come to you because of your service to them. Okay.
Right. Service. Right.
Yeah. So like my car wash, for example, we charge way higher than most people do car wash, right? And we insist we do water wax, for example. Okay, give you an example. So rather than telling people that water wax is good for your car, okay, I would say simple things like, Adrian, have you noticed that when you wash your car already, after 2 days, even just 2 days, even sometimes just 1 day, you start seeing your car collecting dust. You swipe your finger on the car, you start seeing dust, right? You see, that's the problem, right? That's why your car, and the worst case scenario is when you have all these dust collected after 2, 3, 5 days, 6 days, when the sun is hot and it rains, this will bake into your car, and then your car will lose its shine. Okay, so here's what we do. Okay, I had the same problem. Okay, here's what we do. Every car we do, we put water wax. Okay, would you like to know why it helps, or you want to know? Okay, let me tell you quickly. Okay, this very simple. Don't need to talk science. We give you a simple lubrication. Your car got static. When you drive your car through the wind, got static. Then the dust will start on your car. Right? So now only I give them the information. But before that, I tell them the things that they should be concerned about.
Right.
So I start always with what they are concerned with. And more often than not, people look at it, it's like, it's extra 10 ringgit, they pay for it. Extra 15 ringgit, they pay for it. So it's to establish a certain problem. Okay. I want to come back to this.
Right.
There is a key that I really want to share with you. There's a little key that I really want to share with you. Okay, so check this out. I actually wanted to use a whiteboard one, but I couldn't do it. But okay, everything they don't want, the miserable things that are miserable to them. Everything they don't want. Picking the wrong property. So right now, if you're listening to me, guys, like you can take a pen and paper out. Write down what do you think is the worst thing that can happen to a property buyer. I know you can write this because you are also a property buyer. Okay. So you write down all the things that they are afraid of, making the wrong choice, loan cannot approve, whatever lah. Just put all those things down, maybe 5 to 10 of them, and then you pick the 5 things or 4 or 5 things that is like their fantasy, like for them it's like, wow, I bought this property, my wife is happy, when I bought a property, I buy below market price, when I buy this property, whatever lah, all the good things that people want is here. Now, check this out. Okay. The next thing a servant leader does is they take the person through the process. Now, first of all, you establish understanding. Okay. I know you're here and you want this. The moment you can create that, it's like, you are on my corner. Okay. Now you establish that in the corner, only you start to review the bridge. How do you get across from one place to the other?
Right.
Okay. The bridge, you see a lot of people, a lot of top leaders, they always think the property is the fantasy island. That's when they are wrong. Your product is not the fantasy. The product is not the positive things. Okay. The product is the bridge to go there. Okay. So your property is not important to the customer. Okay. But the top leadership will think that the property is the most important thing, but that's why you're wrong. A servant leader knows what the property means is more important than the property. Okay, and then only when you establish this, you provide the solution, which is the middle. Now, top leadership, as a servant leadership, will even go as far as, okay, how do I even take the person across? Let's say the person is like, I'm not sure whether my loan can approve or not. Okay, what's the first step of the bridge? Even before you proceed to take them forward, do you help them, let's say, identify whether their loan can approve or not?
Yes.
So that's one step already, right? So you're slowly eliminating their fears and slowly making it possible to get across. Okay. Right. Your property is not the thing they're buying. That's why you get a commission, because you serve them by making the process easier.
Yes. So I think you, whatever you just said, just made it a lot clearer, like how a sales process should be if you are using a servant leadership like way to kind of like approach it, right? Instead of just this is the product, which is what a lot of people think that this is the end goal, but instead this is actually helping them to move from the pain point to the end goal itself.
Yes. Right? Yes. As long as your customer hasn't bought a property or bought a certain product they want to buy, they haven't, he hasn't been served yet. They haven't found a solution. They're waiting for someone to help them get across. Okay? And the servant leadership is okay to let the person not buy their property also. I don't know about you, but if you're willing to go as far as if the customer want this product, but you know it's not good for them, you will tell them. There's also a sort of servant leadership. Yeah, a lot of people buy property out of what? Sometimes out of like desperation. Sometimes out of like, I need to show that my family that I can afford a property, for example. Are you willing to go as far to let them know that, hey, hold on, this property may not be the best for you? they're looking, they're engaged, they want to get married, then they're buying a 1-bedroom apartment. Then are you willing to tell them like, hey, maybe it's not the best for you, because by the time you get married, then maybe 3 years down the road, then you want to have a children, then you can't have, right? Then disposal is difficult, etc. But the point I'm saying is that yeah, it's a very different concept.
Which I think this is a lot of time. I also advise my agent to do this, to have this kind of practice, which is if somehow or rather you find that your product is not suitable to your client, right? Send them to a competitor. Sometimes we can't cover all kinds of product, right? That sometimes we know that okay, some other competitor have a better product, and just that we don't have it. My suggestion is maybe send them there, because they can solve the problem with that product, and you don't sell them, but you lose that sales. I understand that, but you earn that relationship with the client. If you look long term, they probably will recommend people to you like in the future, right? So that's how I see these things. Speaking of that point,
thought leadership is very egocentric. Means that my product is the best. Servant leadership is that look, whatever I sell is not important. What's important is you can achieve your goals.
Whether it's suitable for you or not.
Yeah, whether I can help you achieve your goals or not. All right. So people's afraid, what they're afraid of, and what they want. Can you help them achieve their goals? That is a servant leadership process. All right.
Let's speaking of this, Thomas, how would this mindset actually help in terms of like team or sales organization?
Sales organization, yeah. But before that, I saw Erica's goal says, what about a customer just don't get it? Their budget is way too low for them, and demand so many damn things. How can we better approach this? So it's a very good process. Like what do they help? Maybe you can help them. You say like, look, it sounds like you have a lot of things that you want. Can we? But not every property has what you want, right? And but for me to find the right property for you, why don't you list down the things that you want? You see, sometimes people want to know that they're being listened to. Okay. And the reason why they want to have all these things and their budget is low, because for they might have they are afraid to make a wrong decision, right? And they know they cannot afford. So they're also putting themselves in the astronomically stressful. Actually, for them, it's quite stressful. I understand for the customer, they're quite stressful. No, I need to meet my budget and I need to meet all these things. So they're quite stressful, So maybe you have to stop selling them a property and become a property consultant. Sit down with them and say, look, what do you need in a property, right? Let's list all of this down, okay? What's your budget? Then you can say, okay, look, based on what you have, can I suggest for you a few things, okay? Great. Number one is, what are more important in your priority? Because not everything can be achieved, ma. You want a swimming pool, you want a 4-bedroom, this, and then you have only 400,000 budget, for example. Are you okay with older property, for example? Like, you got what I mean, right? You help them prioritize. Sometimes just sitting down and helping them prioritize, that is a sort of servant leadership, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question, Erica. Because I have as well in my own business, in aspects of my business, I'm willing to help my customers find the right choice, even if it's not with me. Yeah. Okay, coming back to leading a team, yeah. Okay, leading a team.
Like we said earlier, if we like to add on to what Thomas said, sometimes if our product really can't suit their need, right, we can either tell them like, okay, that's where you can find it, just go buy over there, or tell them frankly there's no such product in the market, right? So that they know what to expect. I guess probably that's why. And okay, some of them have been looking for houses for more than a year, right? And then earlier on, Thomas actually mentioned, I know that you have been looking for houses for more than a year. Like, make them feel that what is their situation right now, and you are with them. And I was just like you. I've been looking for houses for like maybe half a year or 8 months or a year, and because my requirement was too strict and whatever, after I loosen up my my requirement, then I found my dream house. I think something like this. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, something like that. We can say like, a lot of people are looking for properties for more than a year. It's very common, But you can say that it's very common that people have this process. Okay, and I understand why. Because you go to a showroom, all the agents keep telling you the property is this, and that. What it does, it makes you more confused, makes you want more things. Correct or not? So
Exactly.
how about this? How about this, Erica? Let's not talk about property. All right, let's not go see the showroom. I know we're in a showroom. We can see this. These things can come later. I want to help you find out what you need. You don't need any more information. You need. Well, here's what I think you need. Can I help you? Because I've seen so many properties. I've sold so many properties. Can I help you suss out what is the priorities? At least today, even if you don't buy from me, okay, you know which property to look for. In fact, if this is not property you want, I can give you the list of agents I know that have listing of these properties. Then you can go take a look.
There we go. Yes.
Right
there.
Because yes, you're right. People who are never make a decision, they are not being served. They are being bombarded by information. Okay,
They're being
very
sold.
simple. If your customers are confused, their answer is always no. If they're confused, they're worried, they are fearful, the answer is always no. Okay. So the other thing I want to come back is that to talk about this a little bit. After you do thought leadership sales process, people know. This comes back to the sales team also. People know. I know. All right. Servant leadership is a lot of people who take action. If you want your clients to take action, then you need to come from a servant leadership. The action may not be towards what you want to sell them, but they are moving towards their goals, right? From where they are afraid of to where they want to go. They're still taking action. You know, it's very funny. I know an insurance agent, which I refer a lot of referrals to him. He said, Thomas, let's talk about you might be paying too much insurance. Then what do you mean? So you sit down and help me review insurance to show me where I'm overpaying, and they help me to restructure my insurance or reduce my insurance payment. Then I say, bro, how do you make money? He said, well, you shouldn't be paying more than what you need to pay for insurance. Then I'm like, wow. So what do I do? Next time when I see a person who needs insurance, I send to him lah.
Right. Right.
I will fight for people to go and see this guy, because he's happily helped people to make sure that they are secure in the right way. Not too much life, maybe just enough critical illness or whatever, so on and so forth. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So basically, Erica, you're trying to give them a pattern break. By stop to give them information, you have to stop them and you give them a pattern change. Right. So what are we talking about again? Oh, sales organization.
Yeah,
okay.
For the team.
Yeah.
While leading a team.
A lot of leaders, they like to keep telling their people that, oh, this is the way to do this, the step-by-step sales process, so on and so forth, this and that. And if you experience your team members or your friends not taking action, then yes, you are following a thought leadership. Okay. So you're educating them. It's the same thing. Okay, selling property is the same thing as selling people to take action. Okay, before you even go into anything I want to tell you, which is more important? Your team members know or team members take action? One or two?
Take action.
Right. No,
I think take action.
Right. I think that's pretty straightforward, right? Okay. You see, a servant leader will design their mentoring, design their coaching, design their training, not to teach you something. Yes, there are information pouring out. That's not the main objective. Okay. They are designing the whole process for you to, in the end, make a decision and take new action. That's all.
Mm.
Okay. So how do you do this? Okay, maybe you want to ask also, maybe how you do this, or you want to talk about why is it important for a sales team?
Maybe we can talk about why first, then we talk about how.
Why?
Yeah.
Okay. YouTube got all the information they need. Google got all the information they need. Okay. So why they're not taking action? They can buy a book. They can go Google. They can Google this guy named Sabir Subri. He's this book called.
You bought his book.
Yeah, of course. What? Then why aren't people taking action? Right? If they already know their information out there, why are not taking action? Okay, that's the question a servant leader need to ask. Okay. Why they're not taking action yet?
Yes.
Right. So why? Because it will give you better results. Just period. Your people will have better results. Okay, you have better results in your team. Your team will take more action. Okay. And more importantly, people will be more. It's just very simple. Take results. It's just simple. Okay. Yeah. All the time I've been doing training, people always think that I might need to know a lot. Yes, information is important, but the process of delivering information, the experience is more important than the content itself. Yeah.
Mhm.
Back in the days, people can pay money for two hours with Jim Ron, for preview, because back then information is hard to achieve. You can't go Google and watch Jim Ron speak live. So
Yes.
today he's on the internet. He's really passed away. God bless that man, brilliant man. But today you go to YouTube, you can find Jim Ron talking still, even though he's passed away already.
Right.
Right. So what makes you different? What makes you different than the other person? Your team. Right? So servant leadership comes into way. Right.
So again, practice the idea of what in sales, you don't try to force all your idea into the other person, but instead you seek to understand first. Right.
Correct.
You understand where they are, you understand what problem they are facing, and let them know. And that's the key word. Let them know that you know, like, where they are, so that you can help them to get to the other side of what they want. I think that actually is a very important tool, because many team member, like you say, we're all human. A customer is human. Your team member is also human, right? And I always tell people about this. When you are a property consultant, property agent, right? Your customers is a property buyer. And when you are a leader, who are your customers? The buyers or your team member? You got to think about that. You got to get that really straight. Your team members are your customers. So if your team members are a customer, then when you are practicing servant leadership, you want your team member to take action. You have to serve them, right? So treat them like your customer. Like, let them know that you actually know their situation, and you are trying to bring them to their goal. And here's the most important thing: the goal that they want, not the goal that you want them to achieve. Right? Many people are like a lot of leaders that I have seen before. They always tell their team member when they want to set goals and all, right? The goal that the team members set, right, is not the one that they want. It's the leader tell them, this is what you should aim for this year, right? Without asking them if this is the thing that they want. Yes, some may argue that, Adrian, maybe some of them, they don't know how to set goal. Their goal, they set very, very low, okay? And your job is to help them to raise that stretch goal and not telling them this is the goal that you should do, right? So instead of like coming from that point of view where, like, true definition, which is thought leadership, here's what I should do, here's what I should aim, this is the number that you should achieve, here's the action that you should take, right?
Or thought leader would say, like, if you don't set goal high enough, it's not worth it for you, whatever it is. And then people don't achieve goal, then what do? Oh, you didn't work hard enough. You didn't apply what I taught you. You see, that's the thought leader. So let me come back to this process. Like, you brought up a very cool point. So I want to present it in such a way. Talk about setting goals. Okay, how to run sales organization. Okay, so imagine a leader goes in front of you. Okay, today we're going to talk about how to achieve your goals in 2021. Okay, now I don't want us to set goals right now. Okay, the reason some of you how many of you here have set goals and never achieved them? Okay, I do also. Okay, I do, right? Now set goals, don't achieve them. Okay, and the fact some of you are afraid to set goals. I know some of you here are afraid to set goals because you're afraid that if I cannot achieve them. And I know that some of you, like me, I reduce my goals so I can achieve them. Okay. So
that's scary.
So here's the reason why all of us has played into this concept of goal setting that fail us. Okay. So there is a key truth to why people set goals and never achieve them. Okay. So you see, this process really suddenly is like, wow, you are understanding where I'm going. Right? So you can talk about setting goals. Then now I can say, okay, maybe you are not achieving. Most people don't achieve their goals because they are setting goals to please other people. They're setting goals to make themselves feel better about themselves. Okay. And it's not your fault. This is how we've been taught. We've been taught that we need to, when you have a problem, we set a goal to solve the problem, right? But imagine that your life, the best you can do is just to solve a problem. Is that a pleasant life? To just solve problems? Don't you want to enjoy your life? Don't you want to break through your potential? Don't you want to develop into someone else, into the full potential of who you are? You see, most people set goals, they think of, I want to solve a current problem. I need more money so I can feel better about myself, so on and so forth. So you see, at this moment, people are like, all right, maybe that's why I can't achieve my goals. I know I'm going through a very long-winded talk, but the point is that there is a concept for you. Okay, for those of you who want your team members to follow you, what you say, here is how it will sound like. You will first create highlight the problem. Here's what the problems that people are having, your team is having, and let them know it's not their fault. You see, servant leaders never tell people no, it's their fault. It's always circumstantial. Okay. Yes, sometimes it's their fault, but who likes to be told it's your fault? No one likes to be told it's their fault, right? So you can let them know there are certain circumstances that lead them into this, right? Now, the second thing
Right.
the servant leader does is that here is the culprit. There is a key truth. Okay, the word that Kenneth taught me is the word key truth. So this is going to enhance your servant leadership communication. There is a key truth. Means that there is something that's preventing you from getting what you want, and you haven't know yet. Let me show you what is preventing you from what you want. So like property, for Erica earlier, like with the property, right? I know some of you, I know most people how long have you been? Oh, 1 year. Well, I understand why most people haven't bought in 1 year, because there's so many things you want to know, and then every property looks so good, and what if there's the next property, and so on and so forth. But let me tell you, are you open for me to share what is the one thing that really stops people from making a good deal? Then like, or stopping people from actually making a mistake. Because I know you don't want to make a mistake, because once you buy this property, right, it's for you for 35 years and 35 years. And I know that's why you haven't made a decision. You don't want to make a mistake. Do you want to know what are the biggest mistakes people make in buying property? Oh, yeah. So you shift it around. You go into the key truth. So the key truth is that there is something to blame, something that is preventing me and you to get what we want. Okay. So here is the miserable home. Here is the fantasy island. There is something that's stopping you. You see, if this is horrible, this is good, people will just walk across, right?
Yeah.
Everyone would have done it already. See, the servant leader understands there is something stopping them from going across, and this comes with your research. You have to do research with your team, with your presentation. Okay, so when I'm doing a presentation, even if I'm training my team, okay, I always use the same format. Today's topic is ABC. The objective is this. Okay, now here is what the problem is. Then here is the key truth. Here is the one thing that's stopping you from getting what you want. Yeah, I hope that is starting to help you see things a bit differently now, right? Because if they know what they want and know what they don't want, they would have gone through it already. The servant leadership take time to establish that I know why you are not getting there yet because of this thing, and then you reveal the solution to that thing. Do you think they will start using it? Right.
Right. I agree to that point, Thomas.
Yeah.
Just one question though. Have you, like, from your own experience, were you ever a thought leader?
Yes, sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I gravitate now thought leadership. But when I first started doing selling, yes, I was a very thought leadership. I was selling my Kangen water, So you sell this water is good for your health, right? So when I go into the conversation, I say, do you know that when you drink this kind of things, it gives you uric acid problem? Do you know machine is not good? You know why that this machine is the best for you? I mean, can you already hear how obnoxious it sounds? I used to sell like that.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Do you know why most people don't? You say like, hey, you need to earn extra income. You need to increase your income so you have a better quality of life. They were like,
yes,
I know, right? That's why I couldn't recruit anybody. Right. So yes,
let me pause. How do you guys feel when you hear questions like Thomas said earlier, like, you should make more money, you should look for a second stream of income, you should like drink like healthy stuff like this. How do you feel? Like, let me know in the comment section. Let me know. Right. I'll tell you how I feel. I felt very defensive.
Yes.
Like, if I really were to hear things, questions like that, somehow I know, I deep down, yes, all these things I know, like these are potential problem, and yeah, I should take action. But we all don't like someone to go directly like that one, So which is why I feel like sometimes thought leadership, like if you are the kind of person who like, yeah, you should do this, you should do that, like giving out command and stuff like this, maybe people won't take it. So ask yourself this question: if you want them to take action, or do you want them to know something, or do you want them to take action? I think that's a very good, very, very, very good takeaway today I have today, right? If you want them to take action, then start from understanding them. Then how do you change your approach? Thomas, then instead of like going like, do you know, like, how do you approach this afterwards?
So you want to, so when you want to talk to people, you try to use third party. Don't use like you, third party, right? Most people, there's a very powerful way of like or influencing. You try to use like most people, some people. The idea is not to use all people. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some tips of some persuasion. Never use all. All is like it breaks off because you say most people, they can still believe it, right? Okay, so this comes from the concept of studies have shown 97% of people in the world are irresponsible. I know it sounds very horrible, you're like, wow, but it's true, isn't it? If we are all responsible for our goals, for our, we all be billionaires, we all have a very sexy body, and you hit all our goals in our life, right? Because we're responsible, right? But the truth is, most of us are irresponsible. Now, understand this: irresponsible people need something to blame. Irresponsible always have something that's causing them this situation. So now, don't judge this information. I want you to listen to this first. Right? I want you to just take in this concept. And now, if you can truly empathize, because I do that, I'm pretty sure most of you do this, right? We say, oh, not enough time lah, too busy, right? TSU, write book, not ready yet lah, whatever, right? You see, it's not a bad thing. Sometimes we do this to protect ourselves. Okay. See, here comes a top leader, tell you should. Then you're like, right? So what Adrian was saying earlier, like you back off, right? And you start being defensive. Right? But here comes a servant leader and say, whoa, I know that you want to do all of these things. Okay. But I get it. There's not enough time. There's this, there's that, there's so on and so forth. All right. But here's the one thing. Why you haven't gotten that is especially this one thing. You haven't written your book because of this one thing. Okay. You don't have a blueprint to write a book. Where do I start? Right? I know I've been there, right? I've also written a book. It took me almost 6 months to write just 20 pages. And the worst part is, Adrian, every time I sit down, I give myself 1 hour, I just come up with 2 sentences, and the 2 sentences is not the worst thing is to know that, to put yourself in that spot where you are like very, very fun now, very stressed. Should I write this? Should I write that? Should I write this? That is the worst situation. Very stressful one. Actually quite stressful.
Yeah.
Because you don't have
100% right.
This because I don't have a blueprint. What if I told you that I've studied the books that actually sold millions, all the best-selling books, and not just the best-selling books. I filter them to find the one that convert the most in the end, because it's what you want, right? You want to have conversion in the end, right? And I noticed they have a same sort of format. After I use this format, okay, not only I could write my book only in just 7 days, but my book actually generate for me X amount of money.
Wow.
Not through the book, but through that process. Now, you see what happened with Adrian right now. I'm reeling him. I didn't tell him that he should write the book. I didn't tell him that he needs to follow this process. All I just did was empathize with him. No, to a certain level, I also expressed my sort of frustration with him, right? And then I started to slowly provide this. I say like I gave him the fantasy, which is like, wow, you can do this and that. And here's the solution. It's a blueprint. Now, Adrian is probably wondering right now, it's like, hey, where do I get this blueprint? How much does it cost? Right? So right now, you see the pitching process become quite interesting already, right? Just by changing that. Now, coming back to your team, okay? Anything that you want your team members to do, okay? You have to understand why they are not doing it yet. Okay? Empathize with them.
You mean like ask them question first, right?
You can ask them question first, so on and so forth, or you can paint a picture. But at the end of the day, when you present your idea, you're telling them that this action is actually the redemption for what you don't want. Versus this action or this property or whatever you're trying to sell, okay, is good for you. But you are giving them the property, you're giving them the solution, is a redemption from what they don't want. You see, here's another thing. So the first concept, write this down, right? 97% people are irresponsible. You must understand this concept, right? I'm appealing to irresponsible people. Some of you don't like it. Don't try to fix your customers. 95% people are just the way it is, right? Okay. So that's why you are a servant. You don't judge them by being irresponsible. You help them be responsible, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, you think people are actually more motivated. Generally, most people are more motivated to not make a mistake, to suffer less, to avoid pain, than to get what they want. They are more motivated to those things. A servant leader understands that. So when they present a sales tool, or they ask you to call 100 people or run ads, for example, you need to present it in such a way that it's a redemption to their problems, not for them where they want to go. Once they take action, they generate results, they will eventually get to where they want to go. You don't have to worry about that. You get what I mean? Yeah.
Yes. I think there's a very good structure that I learned today, which is today you don't start by, okay, let's review your progress, right? Okay, this is what you should be calling, how many appointments, how many leads and follow up, how many customers, but you're not doing it. That's why you're not getting a result. Now that's somehow I thought leadership, right? Numbers, and just telling him what you should do. The other way of talking from a servant leadership point of view would be like, okay, like paint them a picture, or maybe understand and empathize with them about why they are not taking action first, right? And then tell them by taking this, let's not talk about the action, and talk about initially what kind of situation that you want to avoid or you want to move out of, right? And then telling them that, okay, by taking this action, it will move on. I think that will be a very good script, or a way of talking when you are communicating with people, either team members or buyer, right? Even to answer Erica's question, like buyer says that I'm not in a rush. My goal, never mind. I said only I'm not in a rush. And this year hit, next year hit also never mind one, right? How should we approach this? Like, what would you do, Thomas?
So what if members or buyers say, I'm not in a rush to go? Okay, let's talk about like members. Right? I'm not in a rush to reach your goals, right? Then you can say similar things. See, the power of agree to agree, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you can say like, great. And you say like, you know what? You're not the first person to say this. I mentor a lot of people. In fact, why don't you ask yourself this question? Don't you realize a lot of people around you sometimes, they know they want something, but they always delay to get themselves the goal.
Wow.
Right?
Ask the question back.
Yeah. Ask the question, or you help them understand that it's a normal process. You ask the question not to ask the question, but you ask the question to help them understand that actually it's a normal process. So that's how you start with lah. Okay. So if you say like, okay, you not in a rush to get a goal, get your goal, so on and so forth. Okay, great. Why most people do that? If you know this is what you really want, okay, your goal, why we don't really get it? Because here's the problem, Adrian. Okay, you tell this. Let's say Erica is talking to this. I'm talking to Erica. Okay, here's the problem, Erica. Sometimes we have been taught, right, that everything we do in life must have a goal, even if it means nothing to us. So people come to real estate, they set goal. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, just for the sake of doing it.
Right.
Okay. So I want to tell you, Erica, the problem why you are not getting what you want and not getting to your goal and want to delay, and all your friends who delay, is because that's not what we really want.
Wow.
So there's the problem, right? Here's the problem. If you set something you don't want, of course you don't go for it, right? Right? You do it because you think you need a goal. Everyone thinks they need a goal. Most people has been programmed to need a goal. It's not your fault, because you go to school, everyone says you must get A, right? There's a goal. There's always a goal. Finish exam, get a degree. But what if that's not what you want? All right? That's not what you want. Okay? So why don't we do this, Erica? Instead of talking about what goal you want, okay, let's talk about why you're getting into the business. Okay, because the why is more important. See, a lot of people ask you set goals, don't ask you to talk about. Your teachers ask you to set A's. Your parents ask you to get A, but no one talk to you about why.
Why?
Right?
Yes.
Let's talk about why. Let's talk about why today. Right? Don't worry, take your time. I'm not asking you to. If your why is not clear, let's talk about it. So rather than making, you see, basically, whatever they tell you gives you a clue, all right, of why they're not getting it, right? You must understand these are excuses. You need to understand that people are giving, when people give you a objection like this, they are almost sabotaging themselves. A servant leader sees that people are sabotaging themselves, and you understand because you do that to yourself too. So help people stop doing it, right?
Joyce has a question.
What about members who need motivation every month to refresh? What about members who need motivation every month to refresh? Okay, so what do you mean by refresh?
Like I think what she meant is that some people, like, they're motivated for 2-3 days, then they just go off, the fire burns off, right? And then you gotta re-motivate them to refresh and then make them kickstart again. Have you ever faced that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So when you talk about people who take action and then they take action only, and these are people, they are taking action because they are afraid of a certain situation, right? Because they are afraid of what? So when you see your team members, they take action in a short burst, right? They're only doing to try to solve a certain immediate problem. Solve an immediate problem, right? It's good. It's good. Okay, fear, desperation, worry about not enough money, not worry about what people say, will help you take some action immediately, right? But then it won't sustain a long-term result, correct? Right? It won't sustain a long-term result.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You can't say that why is not big enough, right? But what generally is because they are motivated by not feeling a certain way only. Okay, so in a way, you need to understand what they are trying to avoid and have a conversation about it. There's another form of servant leadership as well.
Right. What I take away today is that empathize with your the person you want to talk to, whether it's team member or whether it's buyer, right? Empathize with them so that they know that you know what they want and what they don't want, so that they will take action. At the end of the day, is to have that kind of conversation. But Thomas, sometimes people don't want to talk about that. Right. People,
Yes.
Even if we want to talk about it, they don't want to talk about it. I'm sure you probably faced some problem like that before, right? How would you?
Yes. And sometimes you just have to let them go, sometimes like that, because they will talk when they're ready, right? You cannot force them to talk to you. You cannot force them to open up to you. What you can do is show them the cost of not opening up. So what is another way of doing a servant leadership is, okay, it may sound really weird, right? By showing cost, it may sound like a very threatening kind of way. Okay? But actually it's not. You are serving them by helping them see what is going to happen if they don't take action. If they keep going on with this, right? So you can show them the cost. So like, let's say you talk about like some leaders need motivation every month, for example, So rather than telling them they need to, why what happened to you? Is everything okay? Right? So you can ask simple questions like this. Okay, relate to their experience. For example, how's it working for you? My favorite question to ask as a coach is like, Adrian, how's it going this month? Oh, it's doing great. No, I make some phone calls already, But after 1 week, he will keep quiet one. Right? Then you ask question, how's it working for you? How is it working for you? All right. You see, end of the day, there are a few ways for you to help the person start opening up for you. One is that you want to give a reflection. Show them that this is what is happening right now. A lot of people they're not aware of what's happening to them. They keep doing the same cycle again and again. So what you want to do is to help them be aware. Look, so first start is awareness. A servant leader helps people become aware. Okay. I'm going very broad because I'm trying to answer the question, but everything is so broad, right? But let me give you some steps. Number one, establish awareness. Help them understand that this is what's happening right now. This is the results happening right now. Okay. You're not even telling them to do anything. You're just helping them understand.
Okay.
Number two, you ask them for permission. Are you willing to have a conversation about it? Are you willing? You see, willingness is like it's like a door. If people's door are shut, right, you cannot open the door. Let go.
Right.
If a customer is shut, not willing to talk about it, not willing, the word is willing. If not willing, don't just walk away. You're not ready. They're not ready, right? If they are willing, it's like the door opened a bit, you got hope. You can open the door. But if the door is locked shut tight, forget about it. Right? So the word is willingness. So if the first one is awareness, second is willingness. You're helping them make those choices. You're giving them the scenario so that they can make awareness. They become aware. You ask questions for them to be aware. You give them, you ask them the question if they are willing. Okay. So servant leadership are very good at asking questions. For example, like, do you like this situation now? So for your team members who take action a lot in the beginning of the month and then they later on die off, ask them that how's it working for you? Do you like this? Do you like this? No. Okay. Are you willing to have a conversation about it? Now you have leverage, right? So awareness first, then willingness is the first two steps I can give to you. I know we have short of time and this is very unscripted today. And I also today when I sit down, I'm like, oh, what I'm going to talk about? Because for me, a lot of it is already in my process of doing things.
Yes.
I don't really have a time to really teach this concept. It's something that I always have embedded in my mind. So if I have team members who come up to me, let's say they say, oh, I can't running out of prospects. I've been doing the same thing and I'm getting so little sales.
Right.
So they're almost wanting me to help them identify what their problem is. Right. So so the question is, are you how's it going for you? If how they give them a reflection. First is awareness. Second is show them the willingness, right?
Willingness, yes.
Yeah. Willingness. That's the second process, right? And for someone to completely go into a full change, okay, sometimes you need to inflict some pain to them and help them remind them of the pain if they do not change. Yeah, sometimes you have to inflict them. Okay, you do the same thing again and again, you're stuck again. Yes, you make a few sales, after you fall back into the pattern, you start beating yourself up again. Right? I don't know about you, Adrian. Is that a nice way to live your life? Okay. See, up until this point, right, the thought leader or the servant leader, hasn't yet tell you what to do. All he is trying to do is to help you build the propelling nature of motivation to move away from pain. That's all they're trying to do. Once I get you to want to move out, then only you present the solution.
Right.
Yeah. So to think of it this way, a servant leadership always they work, whether you're doing sales or you're doing talking to your team members or whatever, simple. They always don't depend on their ability to influence you. They always depend on your ability to influence yourself. So it's like they're using the rubber band, they're loading the rubber band. Okay. So when they're ready, when they present their solution, they just let go. They will come to your solution.
Right.
You don't need to influence someone. You have to motivate someone to come to you, right? Or come to your solution. You just have to motivate their intrinsic motivation to move. That's what servant leaderships look at. Right. So I hope that comes a bit clearer. Okay. Awareness, willingness. Okay. After they're willing, the third one is what's the cost?
Then you tell them the pain point. If
don't
they
tell them
doing the same thing.
You help them.
Oh.
Don't tell them. You help them picture what's going to happen in the future. Okay. I know you attended Tony Robbins, right? Past, present, future, right?
Yes.
Past, what has happened to you if you go on this pattern? What will happen today if you keep doing on? What will happen in the future if you keep doing the same thing again and again and again and again? Okay. Do you want this? So after you show them the cost, the fourth step is, do you want this or not? The answer is no. Then you make a new decision. That's it. Right. Make a new decision. Okay.
A very good 4-step process.
Yeah.
To let them know.
Is this process longer? Yes. It takes more time. It takes more. It's not even a step. It takes more heart. You have to sit down, listen to the person, help them feel safe to talk to you. Your customers will take time, sit down, build relationship. But end of the day, it is what it is. It is servant leadership. And your ability to have someone feel safe enough to open up to you is also where the heart comes out. Do you have that capacity to do that? So it's not really a skill anymore lah. It's almost like a mindset or or heart or how you approach your attitude to life lah. Yeah.
Right. It's a way of handling situation. I would say, right. Of course, the point here is to let the person that you are talking to know that you actually care about them and you care for them, so that in the end they will take action not for you but for themselves.
Right.
I think that's very important. Let them take action for themselves, not just some people, some leader, when they talk, they even scold, right? And then the member will take action, but not for them, to show you on it.
Yeah.
And that usually wouldn't last a long time, right? It probably
Right.
lasts for a month, few weeks probably, right?
Right.
So in the end, like if you really let them know the reason that they want to move away from certain like situation. I know it's a bit deep lah. Right? Today we go quite deep about this, but if you see the point, like I think we will be able to talk to people better, like, not just team member, client as well, right?
I think just understand everyone is the matter of fact is that intrinsic motivation is very powerful. Like, everyone has intrinsic motivation, and servant leadership knows how to unleash intrinsic motivation. They use people's intrinsic motivation for them to take action. You don't have to motivate somebody. You just have to help them discover why they're doing something. That's it. Why they are not taking action. Why is it important for them? These are all the same thing lah. No, you haven't bought property because of this. You see, right? I'm really using your intrinsic motivation to listen to me, for you to take action. That's it. You don't have to work that hard actually if you think about a servant leadership. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, it does take time, but it gives you results. But would you rather do things that easy but no result, or rather do something that may take more time but give you a lot of results? Yeah.
Yes. So I think everyone probably has a better idea on what is thought leadership and servant leadership. Now, before we end the session today, because Thomas has another session to go, okay, let's do the same usual thing in the comment section. Let us know the one idea that you learned today. Like, write this down. Write one thing that you learned today that resonate with you the most. Right? Put it in the comment section. We want to know. Like, I'll start with myself. I think what the most important thing I heard today is to what's the word? Empathize. Is it empathize? Yeah.
Empathize.
Yeah, to empathize, so that the person you're talking to knows that you are on their side, right? Instead of you coming from an angle of you are facing problem, but I have a lot of knowledge and I have a lot of skill and ways and methods. I'm gonna throw everything at you and you're just gonna do it. Then you can get the result, right? That's thought leadership, right? Instead of doing that, why not just bring yourself to their level and let them know that, oh, okay, you understand the way that they the situation that they're in now, and understand what is their goal and the result they want to achieve. Then only you let them know the way to get there. That's my takeaway today, to summarize whatever we learned about today. Okay, so pretty interesting way of talking. Before we end, let's talk about one more thing. Speaker on stage, because this is something that how we started off with this like servant leadership thing.
Oh yeah.
A servant leader.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we talk about this, right? So the servant leader on stage is giving a speech, right? Versus a thought leader on stage giving a speech. Let's end with this. Like, what's your take on that?
You can be a good thought leader on stage. Okay, I'm not saying that thought leadership is better than servant leadership. Okay, this is what I want to say. Okay, because there are thought leaders who are doing very well on stage. Okay, but then you must understand, as a thought leader, you're always a commodity. You're always a commodity. You are pricing yourself as someone who knows something, right, on stage. That's why you are that kind of speaker. Okay, so you have to always sell your knowledge, right? In that sense, you're always going to be competed by other people. Okay, but if you are servant leadership, you're thinking about how can I create an experience that people can understand, relate, empathize, and they can transform and move forward. Servant leadership is all about how can I get you to transform your life. For me, I think my choice is a servant leader lah. If I can help someone transform, help someone move towards what they want. So yeah, I mean, if for me that my opinion is that the people the servant leaders are usually very attractive, very charismatic, because they present, like I say, the whole process. I know your problem. Here's the vision. Let's get across. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the reason we brought this up is because like back then when we met in the NAC, some speakers on the stage is like, oh, I know a lot of things and you should learn from me, and because I know all these tricks,
I got secret. Yeah.
The 3 secrets and stuff like this. But other leader will be like, yeah, I'm here not to like ask you to learn from me or anything, but I want you to take action. But here is how, and blah 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 blah. And that's how we actually started this conversation, and which leads us to live today lah. So just to bring this up. Yeah. And by the way, guys, before you guys go, Thomas has some free gift for you. Okay, I'm gonna pin the link right now. So this free gift, right, is what is it? Maybe Thomas, you can talk about it.
In essence, it's called this called the financial blueprint for IDML. I Design My Life. I believe that for you to live the life that you want, or anyone choose to live, we need to master money. Because to design your life, you need money, right? That's just straightforward. But growing up, I always thought money was solve most of the problem, but it's not, right? So basically, it's to help you understand what aspects of money you need to form and exactly how much you need. I'll be taking you through a short little, like say, workshop where you are actually going to work with me to find out where is your actual financial standing. Are you in financial freedom? Are you in financial independence? Are you in financial security? Are you in financial fortitude? Where are you? And what is the gap? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about in this. It's going to be launched on the 10th of February. And I just think that I just feel that sometimes all this kind of information needs to be put out there. School doesn't teach us how to use money, how to understand money. Yeah, so that's what it is.
Yeah. Right. So for those of you who cannot click the link, because I don't know why sometimes the link cannot click one, just comment in the comment section below IDML, I Design My Life, and then I will PM you later. Right. Just comment in the comment section IDML, and then I will send you the link afterwards if you want to, like, is that like a live class or something, like a Zoom class or something?
It's a recorded class. If it's free, I'll do recorded class for free. Yeah.
Recorded class. Okay.
Yeah, it's like
so he recorded, and then
then you have a workbook.
Right. So I will send you guys. Yes. So comment IDML, and then there's a link you can just sign up. Like, it's a free training from Thomas, courtesy of Thomas, because he wants you to help you design your own life lah. And the first step is to start with your finance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Great. Thank you guys
for joining. Yeah. I know it's a very loose conversation, and it's not a very scripted conversation, but I hope that open up a few aspects for you guys over here. So thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Andy, Joyce, Jane, Erica, and my boss is here again. Hi, our rap book. No worries. Thomas just motivated me somehow. Help me see why and how. Right, and then Sasha as well. Like Rajan. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thanks,
okay,
guys.
Great. I will and Selva is here. Okay. Hey, thank you. Okay, we will see you in the next live video. Bye bye. And by the way, before that, if you feel that this live video has helped you in any way, just share it to your friend, share it to your wall, share it to your group, copy this link, send it to any of your WhatsApp group. Let them know what is a servant leadership, right? And how this idea and knowledge will actually help you in your sales and also in leading your team. Share this out. And also, don't forget to check out Thomas' Facebook, right? Go search at Thomas Yap Official, and also go to YouTube as well to search Thomas' YouTube channel and subscribe to him, because he's doing a lot of things about like finance, cars. If you love car, go check out his channel. All right. Okay. Thank you guys. See you. Bye-bye.